For some reason, my camera is like either I'm close to the camera or I'm getting bigger. I don't know.
That's right.
I don't know which it is. But hey, this is Johnny Bean. Yo, we are live with Rob Johnson
Hello.
and David Nesdall.
Hey,
Yo,
what's going on?
yo.
What's happening, Johnny and Rob?
What's up, Dave? Johnny?
Oh, there's always something up. Always.
You have something you want to show us today, Dave.
Well, no, not I don't. Not that's what's up. I don't think.
Yeah, I know.
Who said that?
I
Okay,
have no
here we
idea.
go.
But, oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
I was just telling these guys. I think this new Guitar Dave segment, it's becoming a regular thing because every other week, Dave gets a brand new guitar.
I know, it's crazy. Dave, what's your number up to now?
What's my what? My number what?
What's your number up to now?
I don't know. I just gave a guitar away. I just we gave one away and I sold one to get this one.
Yeah, but you're up around.
So I don't know what it's.
Yeah.
We're in the upper 40s to maybe 50 range.
Nice.
Around there.
Do you want to say what guitar you traded in for that or not?
No, I don't.
A Squire, Epiphone, something or other.
Nope.
What's the one from Target?
The First Act.
First Act. Did you
First
did you
Act.
trade like 200 First Act guitars for that?
That's very funny. No, you can tell him. We can tell him. I traded
No.
my EVHGEAR.
Okay.
Too late. I traded my EVHGEAR black and white guitar for this guitar, and the reason why I did that is because I'm either going to make a black and white 78 or I may wait for something special to come along in the near future. So
That's why I never
We'll
got
see.
the black and white EVH because I liked my custom-made black and white, too much with the Warren
Yeah.
Gibson logo, and I couldn't.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I always had something. Nothing against anybody that's watching this that has one. I think that's great. I think they're awesome guitars, but I never could bring myself to buy that model because it never had a Floyd on it. It's like it just doesn't seem right. I mean, I can see why someone would get the Unchained, the Circles, or the black and yellow, but
Well,
Yeah.
technically, Rob, it never had a Floyd on it when it was black and white, but it was the mule guitar. It was the guitar that the first Floyd Rose went on
yeah.
for a second. It was on there for a second when it was black and white, but didn't last very long.
Right. I mean, you're right. I mean, you can, take that route too and say, well, I mean, I had a Floyd on it also when it was red and all. I mean, I get it. I mean, I understand. I think it's more playable with a Floyd on it. Definitely, if you're going to play Eddie Van Halen stuff. But I just never could see the need to get rid of my custom-made one because it's so much more accurate, I believe.
I agree with you, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do an accurate version of it.
I
Yeah.
saw one of I saw
Eventually.
one of those years ago. I was at Guitar Center in this town called El Cerrito, which I used to live, California, and there was a black and white Van Halen guitar in there, and I remember it being. This was years before the EVHGEAR stuff.
Yeah.
But it was an actual professionally made guitar. I'm thinking it was like a Charvel, but it was
Yeah.
before the Charvels. It was before the Charvel Art Series. It was a
Well, that's way before, yeah.
I'm thinking it was like a Wayne Charvel. Did Wayne Charvel produce those guitars?
Yes, they did some. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean this was years ago.
They did.
This was way before any of the
Well,
the
I mean-
actual Van Halen stuff licensed.
Yeah, if you go way back to the 70s, late 70s, early 80s, there was, I mean, Grover Jackson and Wayne Charvel. Didn't Eddie have a little riff with them because they were actually making striped guitars?
They were making the Bumblebee ones.
Yeah.
There's actually a bunch of those out there.
Yeah. And Eddie had a
Yeah, they're all different stripe patterns.
Yeah. Yep.
But hey, real quick, I just want to say thank you to Dave Nesdall. He sent me some stuff like a week ago, and he doesn't understand how I can like not open up presents right away. It's like when I got this thing. When I got this thing, I had this thing in the box for like 3 days before I even opened it. And he was going,
yeah, it's pretty crazy.
He's like, how could you not open that thing?
I ordered one from the VH store and like a couple weeks ago. It still hasn't come in yet. They must be on back order.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because I ordered that and a T-shirt, and the T-shirt came in, but the micro stack is still not been shipped yet.
They have them at Guitar Center.
Yeah, I was trying to give Jeff some business, Jeff Hausman, but it's fine. It's no big deal. I don't really need it. It just, it'll get here when it gets here. It's not like I'm waiting on pins and needles or anything for it. So. But.
Yeah, well, Jeff's a cool dude. Hey, Jeff. We haven't talked in like a year, but we used to talk all the time.
Yeah, we used to talk for a while too. He's a pretty cool dude.
Yeah, him and I go way back, like actually like 25 years or something. We used to
really?
live.
Wow.
We used to live in the same state, and we used to talk. We used to talk on the phone.
Yeah.
Like
I
back
did it back during the
late 80s.
Inside magazine, the Van Halen Inside magazine. Remember that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, but this was way before that. This is
Yeah.
before the magazine. Check this out though. So yeah, Dave, he sent me one of these things.
Sweet.
Floyd Rose arm, the actual, vintage style, the kind I like.
Yeah, the old school.
Check it out, old school. So I'm going to throw that. We're actually going to make a video with me throwing that on a guitar.
That's the way to do it.
And they're so much nicer than the newer screw-on, collars. Those old school collars are so much nicer, and I like the feel of them better. And they're also nice because if you're one of those guys that wants traditional Eddie Van Halen play guitar where there's a little bit of extra play,
Sounds.
I think it's cool.
I'm blurry too.
And plus, Johnny, when you have that on there, as you know, you can do the intruder stuff better because it sounds like the chain when you spin it, and it's hard to do it.
Well, that's the reason I used. The only one that I have that arm on is my original Floyd, which is on my Music Man right now.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I used my Music Man for some of my videos, for my intruder lesson, for my tray table lesson.
Yeah.
To get that sound, because that's what he used, was to get that spinning sound. You can't do that with the new arms.
Right.
It's impossible. Totally impossible. And then also, thank you, Dave, for these. He sent me some guitar picks.
You're very welcome.
Right there. So now that I've showed them, now I can open them and try them.
Yeah. You got to open them on
.60s. .60s. Oh yeah, I should do my unboxing, huh?
Unbagging.
I'm blurry again. Unbagging.
Unbagging.
I don't know if I want to make one of those videos.
Yeah, on unbagging. That actually sounds like it could be kind of a nasty video.
You guys are really.
Yeah. I finally get to try them though, because the one that I have, I got at NAMM. What? Last year. The guy actually opened up the case and he's like, here, and he gave me one. He gave me a couple of them, and I gave one to a friend of mine that was there with me. And sorry, I'm blurry. I should actually write on there, hello, my name is, and then put blurry, because I'm always using this to de-blur my. Is that a word? De-blur. To de-blur my camera, right, Howie? Right, kid? He was just reading his Esquire magazine a little bit ago. So cool. I can finally, maybe I'll save them. Maybe I'll do a separate video, and maybe I'll do an unbagging video tomorrow.
Ball bagging. Yeah.
But yeah. So anyway, yeah. So I don't know what I'm going to throw this on. I mean, maybe this thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So cool. What else? Yeah, we got 10, 12 people looking at us. Hey, thanks for watching us.
Cool. I just fixed the Floyd.
Yeah, show us
Just
that
fixed
thing.
it.
Did you
Hang on
show
one
us?
second.
You guys and your guitars, man. I don't know about that. I don't even like guitars.
All right, so here it is.
You know what that looks like to me, Dave? It looks like a Steinberger trans trem on that thing because you got a black Floyd with a chrome arm. It looks like a trans trem.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And because of those titanium blocks too.
Yeah.
It gives it that Steinberger look. Yeah.
Yeah. Titanium blocks and the stainless screws. That's cool, Dave.
Thank you.
Now, Dave, just explain one thing. The toggle switch on that, is it backwards like the Mexican versions too, or?
Yeah, it's horrible. That's
Does
the only
anybody
thing
know
I can't
why
stand.
they do
That is Mexican.
It
Why
is
does
Mexican, yes.
That,
do that? Mine was the
you
same
mean
way.
Indonesian?
Why do they do that? What's the purpose on that? Why would that be any different than the other specials or the USA's? Why would they do something different with that? I don't get it.
I don't know, but it's totally annoying.
Yeah, it sucks. That's why I had mine.
I heard they actually put out a batch that weren't supposed to be like that, where they were Les Paul-like.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
somebody I know got one of those, and they called up EVH, and they're like, "What's up with this?" And they told them that a batch went out that shouldn't have been like that. But that wouldn't explain your guitar though, because it was a batch of the tobacco ones.
Yeah. That's how my tobacco one was.
Well, yeah, I keep hearing that from a lot of other people too. You know.
I hate it.
So what I did with this, what I had to do with this guitar is I actually had to really set the whole thing up. It was when I got it, when we opened the box, not to throw anyone under the bus because I'm not going to, but it was really not set up at all. And the action was probably 3 30 seconds off the fretboard at the 12th fret, which is really high action. It's high. It's stupid high. The bridge was sitting up really high. Then the neck had no tension on it. It was totally loose, and the neck was doing this.
Didn't you say there was 2 of those?
There were 2 of them there, yeah.
At the store?
At the Music Zoo, yeah. There's
Both red
another one
ones?
there now. Yeah.
And so you picked out of the 2?
I didn't know. No. This was the first one that we opened, and it was nice and light. I knew that I could set it up the way I wanted to, so I didn't bother to have them open the other one. It didn't make sense for them to open the other one to me.
Maybe I'll buy the other one.
Wouldn't they have to open the other one?
I suggested. No, for what? Because this is the guitar. This is the guitar that they opened to take the photo of.
Oh, the one that's on their website.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, that was this guitar. And it sounded great. I mean, it sounded great. So, a setup, I know how to do a setup. So I really didn't care. Plus, the first thing I did was put the titanium blocks in and the stainless steel locking screws, and the stainless arm.
Now, Dave, do you have a stainless screw for the detuner, or you don't have one that long?
I do have one, but it's too short. They don't make a longer one for the detuner.
Yeah, that's what I noticed when I put those on my Wolfgang. I'm like, why don't they make one for the detuner? It doesn't make any sense.
It's a good idea. I tell you why, because they don't. Floyd Rose doesn't carry the detuner. It's not their brand.
I see.
That's Adam Reaver.
Yeah.
So I would imagine Adam has them, but Floyd, they don't have them.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hey, that reminds me. We got a question a little while back from Nicholas Lucente.
Lucente.
Nicholas Lucente.
Yep.
He says, "Hey Johnny, I've been having trouble with my EVHD tuna. It drops just over a half step. I've tried using both screws that it comes with and still can't get it to drop the full step. Could you possibly address this in a video? Thanks a lot."
The one thing
Go ahead,
also
Rob.
on
You
this-
address it.
Oh, thanks,
You
Dave.
got
I
it.
didn't mean to cut you off. I was just going to say this because this is something I just
All right.
did the
I'll be right
order
back.
for one of my guitars. And I've done it numerous times, and I remember having the same problem when, and Dave, I don't have a guitar with me. I'm sitting down in my living room. I'm not in my Van Halen room, but basically when you put this kind of goes out for everybody, and yeah, it's a little bit different, possibly depending on how your guitar is set up, but standard rule of thumb, and Dave, you can add on or subtract to whatever I say when I'm done to see what you think, but I've always had good luck with when you put a D-tuner on. When you get the factory D-tuner, you're going to get the package, and you're going to get in the package 2 different screws. And I've had to use, depending on the guitar that I'm throwing the D-tuner on the low E screw, I've actually used both sets of those screws depending on what guitar it is. It kind of depends on what the Floyd is. I can't tell you which screw you're going to have to use. Basically, all you need to do is put the screw in there and make sure when you put the spring in the D-tuner, then the D-tuner slides over the set screw and you screw it in. You got to make sure you have enough travel, and the only way you can determine which one it is to try it. And you'll either get it right or you won't get it right. Once you find what screw it is, and it's painfully obvious to know which one is the right one, because if you have the wrong one, you won't have enough travel. Once you get the right screw in and you go to tune it up, I always, you'll get the tiny little Allen wrench, and that Allen wrench is to be used, but that's the last thing you want to do. Now, what I always do with the D-tuner, whenever I'm setting up a guitar with a Floyd on it, and I put the D-tuner on, you want to back the fine-tuning screw all the way out with the D-tuner in the E position. Back it all the way out, and then maybe a half a turn back on itself, half a turn back, so it's almost all the way out. And then the rest of the screws, the A, D, G, B, E, you want to have those about halfway, so you make sure you give yourself enough play. Now, the first thing you do once you get the guitar tuned with the locking nut loose, and you get the tuners squared away, and you get them kind of close, and you go to clamp that down. When you tune the low E, you want to have the D tuner engaged so you're in D. Have it out, and then when you're fine-tuning that, you want to fine-tune it with the D tuner out in drop D, and you want to use the fine-tuner. And use the fine-tuner on the Floyd to get it set to D, or if you're playing in standard, it's D, or if you're playing half step down, set it to that. Then you engage the D-tuner to go back to E. And when you're adjusting it in E is when you use the set screw. Some people do it completely opposite, and you're going to have problems. You're going to go back and forth. You're never going to get it right. You have to set it, fine-tune it in D first, and when you're in D, you use the fine-tuner. Then you go into E, and then tweak that if you need to, and you probably will, and that's when you use the set screw, and you should be fine. Do you agree with that, Dave?
For the most part, yes. I'll take it one step further.
Okay.
I
Drop it a step
usually
further,
do
Dave.
all my tuning. I usually do all my tuning with the lock open.
Yeah.
I don't tighten it down. So what I'll do is you absolutely keep the D tuner in the open D position, and you tune it to D with the lock open. I always keep all of the fine tuners all the way out, because it's been my in my travels, I've noticed that guitars don't really tune. They don't go out of tune sharp. They'll go out of tune flat. So generally, you never have to go backwards, really.
You get more bang for your buck that way. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yep.
So I keep everything all the way out, and especially the E string. And when I get the guitar perfectly, well, what I do is I set the D tuner. I don't set it at 0 cents, which is perfectly in tune. I set it a little bit sharp, because when you have the D tuner pressed, when you have the D tuner out and your low E is in D. Sorry.
Hey, Dave, answer. I'm calling you.
Oh, no, you're not. All of your strings will be a little bit sharp. All of your strings will be a tiny bit sharp when you have that D tuner out. Just a couple cents. So you want that D a little bit sharp, a tiny bit, just a couple cents, 2 or 3 cents. When you get it to that, push it in, and then you use the little set screw.
There's so many jokes
E.
within this sentence you're telling me, man.
I
There's
know
so
where
many
you're
jokes
going.
I could make, man.
I know where you're going.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not in Long Island with Dave, so.
If you guys are done, can I finish?
Go ahead, Dave.
Oh, you keep going, man. You keep.
Okay. It's very rare that I'm serious, and right now I'm serious. So.
Remember Yahoo Serious?
So when you're
What
in
happened to
D,
that guy?
you have.
Okay.
Okay. Again, when the D tune is open in the D position, you want to tune it a tiny bit sharp, because your other strings are going to be sharp. So when you push it back into E, then you can use the set screw to tune it exactly to E.
Right.
And your strings, when the D tune is pushed in, your other strings will go back to normal. They'll all tune up, and that's how you do it.
Yep, I agree with that. And you know, it's kind of funny.
And then I lock it up at the top.
Yeah.
Usually I for some reason I've got great luck where these things clamp in tune for me.
Yeah.
I just have a touch where you don't over tighten, you don't under tighten, and they clamp right in tune.
Yeah. And the only thing I would add
within a cent.
If anybody out there is throwing on a new set of strings, a brand new set of strings, one thing that I would add to that is I actually don't lock the fine tuners down for about 12 hours after a new set of strings. I'll get it tuned up, and I'll get the Floyd fine tuners kind of like prepped, like Dave said, whether you like me and you like them halfway zeroed, or if you like them all the way out. I mean, I see why Dave's saying that, and he's right. And now that I think back, I'm always having to make the adjustment one way, not the other way. So I agree with Dave. I've always, for some reason, just out of force of habit, I've always had the E backed all the way out, fine tuner, and then the other one's about halfway. But I think I might try it like what Dave said, because I think you get more bang out of your buck. But when you put new strings on, what I always do is I'll set the fine tuners up, and I'll tune everything a couple of times, until I get the strings semi-stretched out, and then I'll do some bar dives with it and readjust again. But I won't lock the tuners down for about I'll usually wait overnight, and then by the next morning they've kind of stretched themselves out, and I'll retune one more time, then I'll lock them down. So that's just one other thing to add too. But you should, whoever the question was, you should have luck with your D-tuna. I've seen problems with people, these D-tunas left and right, and they can't get them set up right. They can't get them, to go, and they're really, sometimes they're real high and they don't come out right. If you do it in the order that Dave and I said, or we're pretty much both almost exactly alike with a couple of different setup tweakings, I think you'll have.
Absolutely.
So you're both tweakers.
I agree with Rob. One other reason why I keep the fine tuners all the way out is because it saves the tension on the claw underneath. Because that claw is very thin metal, and once it gets bent out of shape, it's no good anymore. So unless you're gigging all the time and you really need, like when
kind of like Dave.
when my guitars are home, I just make sure, if I have to take an extra minute and tune up from the regular, the regular tuners, just to keep everything, off, just to keep the tension off that claw, I do that. But when you're in battle, when you're doing a gig, that's all out the window. You use the fine tuners to keep yourself in tune.
Yeah. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which is interesting when you think back in the old days, when Van Halen was playing, whether he was using like Johnny, you and I were talking about this one time, the old original Floyd Rose with no fine tuners. I mean, that must have totally sucked using one of those things because you get Dave, I agree with you. You get to the habit where you kind of know where you need to be before you lock it down. And if you go just a little bit sharp or a little bit, whatever it is, you get that magic touch and you can pretty much come close. But that must have been a nightmare, back in those days.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, first of all, how do you, if you're any tech, when there's more than 2 or 3 guitars, how do you remember it all? You have to really mess with the guitars way beforehand and kind of try to remember where each one is, where the sweet spot on each one is.
Yeah, because they all have their own.
Other than that,
yeah, I don't know how Brad Gillis still uses those things. His are floating.
That's crazy. That's even worse.
His certain solos that he does, the fluttering. Don't tell me you love me.
Again, I had an original Charvel years ago, a red one from I want to say 1980, and that thing also when I locked it down, it locked in tune. I have no idea how or why, because it shouldn't. For all intents and purposes, it shouldn't lock down in tune, but it did, and it was always in tune. It never went out of tune. And the only reason I sold it is because the guitar was like 15 pounds. It was solid maple. Ridiculous.
Nesdal, where'd you go?
I'll be right back. Just had to let the cat back in.
I can tell what you were looking at, Rob.
Yeah.
Once Dave left, you couldn't see you.
150.
Hey, Mikey Kramer. Kramer with the C.
I'm back.
Hey guys, this is Mikey. Hey guys, I finally caught one of your broadcasts. Been meaning to watch you guys live, but I'm always too late. I love these things. I learned so much from you 3. Thank you very much, Mikey Kramer.
Thank you, Mike.
Oh, thank you so much. We really appreciate that. Really good.
Yeah, thanks for watching this stuff, man. Thanks for enjoying the stuff, because I'm sitting here hating my life right now.
It is fun. It's a great time. I always look forward to doing these things with you guys.
Vinny Adam Romano says, "Yo." Do you guys know Vinny? I don't remember that guy.
Vinny who?
Buzzode?
Vinny Boombats.
Vinny Boombats.
Buzzode?
Vinny Boombats.
Buzzode? Buzzode?
Who?
Buzzode? Here's a comment. I think the old Floyd blocks on the Kramers are brass. The old ones? They just have a chrome plating? Bunch of question marks?
They're not. They're steel.
Someone told me that anyway. Question marks? Have you ever heard of chrome-covered brass blocks? Question marks.
Brass what?
The chrome-covered brass blocks.
Brass blocks.
Say that fast. Say that. Say blast blocks. Say blast blocks.
Blast blocks.
He has a Splon Super Sport combo, and it totally rips. Keep up these great videos. Buzzode. Buzzode. Buzzode?
Buzzode.
Is it E silent?
You say pierogi?
Bazooki. Buzzode.
It's not like Johnny Beanie, is it?
Oh my goodness.
And then some of these comments. Oh wait, okay, that's the one I just answered. Oh, this is the guy you were talking about, Artie Lemons? Lemon?
Yeah, my buddy Artie.
2 days ago, he commented on the video we did with Devin.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Johnny. To be specific.
Specific?
Oh wait, I think there's 2 comments in here.
Pacific.
Pacific? I'm Pacific. He's talking about a guitar player magazine article. Charvel made the body for him out of ash, Northern. He's talking about the original, I guess, a Charvel body.
The Frankenstein.
And then he says to be Pacific. I mean Pacific. I mean.
Pacific. Rodin.
To be Pacific. Brox. What? I can't even talk. Where is it? Oh, here we go.
Oh my God.
It's the April 80 issue, remember. Rodan. Ha 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 ha. I guess you just had to be there with some of the stuff.
Yeah.
Like this one guy says obese on a video. I don't know what he's talking about. Well, there's some of that. So hey, yeah, thank you guys for looking at this stuff. If you guys have any
I
questions,
gotta say one thing. I have to say one thing. Glenn Whitney, stop blowing up my phone.
Who?
Glenn Whitney. He posts on Planet Van Halen every 3 seconds. It's a new photo every 3 seconds, and my phone is blowing up. Glenn, what are you doing, pal?
well, why do you follow that?
I
not his
unfollow it
fault.
all the time, and
Dude,
it finds its way back.
That's his page. He can post whatever. Whenever
I
he
get it.
wants on
Johnny,
It's not his fault.
Unfollow it. I've not only have I unfollowed him, but I've unfriended him a couple times.
a couple times.
And he always comes back.
It's like me and Zipkin.
And I don't
I
have
need to
anything
unfriend him.
against the guy other than my phone just keeps blowing up.
Don't you hate those guys? You unfriend them like more than a couple times, and they just keep coming back.
Well, no, I mean I don't mind the guy. I've never met him. He seems like a nice guy. It's just, oh my God, my phone keeps blowing up.
Okay. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, it's his page. He can do whatever he wants. It's not his fault. Question. Oh yeah, Mike. Mike Kramer. Mike Kramer's back. Hey, Mike, knock it off, man. You're blowing my phone up here. You've commented twice in the past 5 minutes. No, I'm just kidding, man. Question for you guys. Do the Jackson branded Floyds that come stock with the soloist guitars stand up to the quality of the Floyd Special? Question mark.
Floyd Special.
The Floyd Specials. The Floyd.
Yeah.
Those are okay.
I don't know. Not to sound like my nose is up in the air, but I don't really put them on my guitars.
I have one on one of mine.
The Floyd Special. That's what comes on the EVH Wolfgang standards, right? The Indonesian ones, those specials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't work.
The actual Floyd Rose Special is it actually says Floyd Rose Special on it. And from what I understand, what research I've done on them, they're about the same quality as what you guys just said, but the blocks are pretty cheap on those. So if you actually throw a big, like an Adam Reaver block on it, you got yourself a decent Floyd. I mean, I haven't had any bad luck with the one that I have. I only have one. And I do like it. I mean, it's fine. It's not. I mean, I wouldn't go out and seek one out. But I mean, the price was right. They are pretty cheap. But you really, if you want to get decent sustain out of them, throw a better block on. That's what I've found.
Do you guys remember those like pot metal Floyds?
Yeah, they were horrible too.
Remember those things? Were those the pot metal ones? Were those the ones that Floyd Rose 2, wasn't it? Where you don't even have to cut the don't even cut the ball off. You just insert it.
They were almost like die cast.
You just insert it right in.
Kramer Focus that had one of those on them years ago.
But apparently Eddie doesn't cut the balls either. His are all inserted from the top.
What?
Yeah. Yeah, at least on the Music Man's. when he was playing the Music Man.
Yeah, that was back then. Who was
all the way.
who was his tech back then?
That would have been Matty.
Yeah, 91, 92.
That's probably how Matt Bruck restrung his guitars.
Okay, there's a second part to this from Mikey Kramer with a C. Saw one on eBay.
Johnny, blowing your phone up.
Oh yeah. Well, no, it's a second part to it.
I'm kidding.
No. Yeah, we're just playing with Mikey. We're just ribbing on Dave with your comments. Dave likes a good rib.
Yeah,
right?
Like a good what?
Rib. You're always talking to me. You're like, oh, I just had dinner. I had ribs. They were amazing.
Yeah, rib for her pleasure.
So, I wasn't going there. I was actually talking about ribs.
Any chance I get to, I do.
I know what Dave likes.
You know what kind of barbecue sauce Dave likes. So he's talking about the Floyd Special. He saw one on eBay earlier for $35 and was wondering if anybody would know if it's worth it. $35 for a Floyd Special.
Yeah.
That's worth it. Although I wouldn't use that as like a gigging guitar. If you're actually going to go and tour or play shows, I wouldn't use it myself. But as far as having something just around the house, or like an extra spare guitar, maybe a spare guitar for touring, maybe.
Air guitar.
You know, a spare the air guitar.
I would save my money. Save you shekels, and buy a real Floyd.
But if they don't have shekels to save though, well, if they only have Republic credits,
it'll take a little longer, but save the shekels. Save them, even if it's $5 a week.
But Mike, honestly, $35. Yeah, I mean, snag it for $35. You can't go wrong. I mean, like I said, I have one on one of my guitars, and I put a new block on it, and it's fine. It's no problem.
Yeah. Or if it's not something you're gonna super abuse.
Yeah.
I think any abuse those things take, I think they'll wear.
Yeah.
I think they'll wear down pretty quickly.
Yeah.
The Vigilant, is that right? Hey guys, question: is it better to have 3 tremolo springs or 2 on a Floyd Rose?
Kind of depends, right?
It depends. If you're using 9-gauge strings, then I would use 2.
Yeah, I agree.
If you're using 10-gauge strings, then 2 will not be enough. 3, you have to use 3.
30. Mm-hmm. And if you use 7s, you can just use 1, right? 1 right in the middle.
Yeah, it's 1 spring.
Just remember that, Johnny. 1 right in the middle.
I don't even know what that means. I'll check Facebook for any questions. Although I didn't really post. I guess I did post this. You posted it. Did anybody say anything?
I did. I'll check. Let me check. I haven't been looking at my phone.
If any of you guys have any questions or anything, let us know.
I got 1 right in the middle.
Okay, who was that? I just got something. Tony.
I got nothing.
Tony Knight. Yo, Tony, are you watching us? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't have anything on my phone.
Oh, Mikey Kramer's blowing up my phone tonight, man.
You know, your Howard Stern impression is really good tonight.
I'm not even doing Howard. Hey now. Oh, there you go. I'm not Howard. Everybody's got one. Makes me sad. Oh, what's he talking about? Oh, he's talking about the striped EVHGEAR guitars.
Oh.
That has nothing to do with this.
Right, you're not missing anything, Mike. Not missing anything with those striped series ones.
Hi, shh. Let me cover this one's ears, man.
Who?
Huh?
What?
What? Mikey Kramer with the C. Okay. And Mikey, yeah, just so you know, yeah, when people think of Kramer, they think with a K because of Kramer guitars. And Rob Johnson is commenting, yeah.
Nice.
Rob Johnson commented on my photo in Van Halen in what?
No. Oh, he saw a Jackson branded Floyd that somebody ripped off a Jackson guitar for $35.
Oh.
Well, that makes things totally different.
That
Changes things up a little bit.
it depends on which one it is, I guess. But if you say they're about the same quality, I think I'll take Dave's advice and wait on my next paycheck. I'll stop talking so much before Dave unfriends me too.
Attaboy. No, Mike, you talk all you want, pal. Mikey, you talk all you want.
Only kidding, he says.
You should all start blowing Dave's phone up now. Like
Hey,
every
hey, Mikey, if you want to really piss Dave off, just post all over his page.
Yeah. Dave likes it when you like tag his page like a whole bunch of stuff like.
Tag him in like all kinds of just random stuff. He loves that.
Like Cialis videos.
He loves that stuff. Will Kelly likes a photo I shared. Thank you, Will, even though you're not watching this.
You guys gotta start.
Shout out. We should just give shout outs to people that aren't even watching this.
Valerie Bertinelli.
Huge shout out. You know?
Hugh Jackson.
Mia Von Doom. Huge shout out.
Huge shout out to Ben Dover. Actually, got more than a shout out. But.
Is Ben watching this? When I was in junior high, we had our shop teacher was Mr. Dover, and that, of course, that was the big joke. Was his first name was Ben. So when you're 14 years old, that's hilarious, and it's still hilarious now when you're 40.
At 42, it's hilarious.
You know.
When I was in high school, we had a shop teacher. He was a Russian guy. His name was Ivan Yurkinov.
I don't think any of our brains have developed past 15. You know. I still can't read or write.
I don't think we need to.
Funny stuff. Funny stuff.
Yeah. So hey, let me see. If any of those.
How many people are watching?
Probably no more by now.
6. 6 or whatever. But this is the time where I have to turn this off, like I was telling you. So, do you want to call it and maybe jump on another one later?
Yeah.
Well, I know that Rob is going to go to sleep because it's past his bedtime.
Yeah, whatever. I was just going to say, as far as the Floyd Rose stuff is concerned, you know, there's all different kinds of versions of them out there, and it brings up a pretty good question. You know, I mean, I'll give my opinion. I like Dave. I prefer the original German-made Floyd Rose, you know, bridges over anything. I really do. There's a whole bunch of different, you know, copies out there or licensed tremolos, which, you know, will work. And I mean, I don't want to slam any particular brand or anything like that, but I always have tried to put the original ones on, you know, on my guitars. And yes, the Floyd Rose specials are not bad. I agree with Johnny too that, you know, you might not want to be, you know, overly abusing them.
I wouldn't go on tour with one stock as my main thing.
Right.
You know, I wouldn't do that because I can see things going downhill. Like the more you go, I mean, it depends on how crazy you go with it.
Right. Exactly.
You know, and I'll be right back. Hang on. And somebody said don't leave yet. So Joe or Jim Cassie, CASSI says, hey guys, don't leave.
Okay.
So, we'll hang on for a little bit, but yeah,
Don't.
I have to split myself for a second, so there you go.
All right, so split for a second.
But no, I mean, I mean, the Floyd Roses are, I prefer the German-made ones. I mean, I like the EVH brand ones as well, and um, I'm also a very big fan of the PV Wolfgang Floyds.
Yeah,
They
they're
seem
good.
like a real rugged bridge. And actually, on my EVH Tobacco Mexican Wolfgang, the one that I think you guys have all seen it. I had the kill switch put on it, and I bought that. What, Dave? Like a couple months ago, something like that.
Yeah, and it took a couple months for him to put the switch on.
Yeah, it did. 'Cause I brought it down to him almost immediately. But I put a PV Wolfgang Floyd on that, and I really like it. And it's got an Adam Reaver big block in it. You know. Now, Dave, the Floyd Rose, the EVH Floyd Rose bridges that are on the Wolfgang specials, those are Chinese made. They're not the
They're
German.
Korean made.
Korean
They're
made.
Korean made. They're the Floyd F1000.
Yeah.
The F1000. And this particular one on this guitar has been staying into. I have not had to tune this guitar since I brought it home. I've been wailing on the bar.
Yeah.
It's staying in tune fine.
But
I just think that maybe certain guitars are better than others.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'll be changing this Floyd over. I think I might just leave it. If I do have problems with it, I'll change it over. But
If you take one of those
I think it's fine.
Yeah. If you take one of those Korean Floyds, I mean, you can literally make them almost, robust. I mean, like Dave did, you can take one of those Korean Floyds, you can throw a brass big block in it.
Which I haven't done on this yet. I haven't done it. I don't know that I will, because it really sounds great.
Right. I mean, I don't mean necessarily that one, but I mean, if you have one of those bridges, the Korean-made ones, and you really want to, hop it up to be as ultimate as it could be, throw an FU Tones Adam Reaver big block on it, get the stainless screws and some titanium blocks, and you got yourself a kick-ass bridge right there. That'll probably.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I'm using it as a learning experience. In my travels, I've noticed that most of them are not that good, or at least the ones that I've owned are not that good. And now I'm starting to think that maybe it's just the nut that might be a little funny, and the bridge might be okay. But time will tell. We'll see how well this thing stays in tune. And if it stays in tune, I'm going to leave exactly what's on it.
One of the things I found on a couple of my EVH striped guitars, the striped series, is it's funny you just mentioned the nut, Dave, because on 3 guitars in particular, my EVH Star, my Circles EVH, and actually even my Stealth Special, on all 3 of those guitars, when I first got them, I noticed that they weren't staying in tune. You start doing bar dives and stuff. I could not figure it out for the life of me. And then finally I checked the 2 little Allen screws in the back of the nut. They were loose. And the nut would move around. So guys out there in TV land and internet land that's watching this, if you guys are having that problem, it doesn't even have to just be with an EVH guitar. It could be with any guitar with a Floyd Rose. If you're having an issue and you can't figure out why it's not staying in tune and it's going sharp, typically sharp, and that you can't see what's going on with the bridge, everything seems locked down, everything seems great, check the 2 screws if it's a rear-mounted nut. Yeah, and make sure those screws are tight, because if they're not...
The snake bite.
Yeah, exactly.
I call it the snake bite.
Exactly. If that nut has any shifting whatsoever, it will go out of tune. The only thing I would remind you is be very careful. Don't over-tighten them, because you'll strip those screws and you'll never get the damn things out. Be very careful with that.
Yep, I agree. So while we're here, we could talk about this a bit too.
Go ahead, Dave. That thing, I think that deserves a little attention. Go for it.
This neck was a beak neck that was made at the Gibson Custom Shop. It was a Gibson Kramer neck that my buddy Dion made for me, and I asked Paul Unkert if he would turn it into a 5150 style hockey stick headstock neck.
Oh, look at that!
Like he did for Eddie Van Halen. And he also used the walnut wood that he used back in the 80s from his grandfather's bedpost. Let's see if you can see that any better. You can see where here is a different color, and this whole piece is a different color. That's the walnut wood from his grandfather's bedpost. And you can see where he doweled the old holes from the old tuning pegs. He also, he also reshaped the whole back of this neck. This was a lot thicker when I first had it. And he reshaped it to the asymmetrical shape that he did for Eddie Van Halen on his necks. It's exactly, this neck feels exactly like the EVHGEAR Music Zoo Tommy Coletti Kramer.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
It's exactly the same feel. It's amazing how exact this is.
Dave, can you show the width of that headstock again, right there where you're talking about how thin it is?
Yes, you can see how thin it is right in here.
Yep.
And especially on this side, you can see how thin it's very thin. On even the Musicraft ones, this area here where it's scooped here is not as scooped on the other ones. So it comes down. It's not a scoop like that. It comes down on an angle, really. So this whole area here won't be this thin. It'll be thick, a thicker piece of wood, and it gradually comes down till you get to here. Now this whole neck, this whole headstock is one size, and this is how it was on every one of Eddie's guitars, where it was really thin. The whole headstock was very thin.
Like that? Why did he have it so thin?
Well, it was because he had to flatten the old dowels, for the old holes.
Right.
The only way to do that is to get the whole neck one size. Because you're sanding and sanding and sanding, and then eventually you're going to have this little lip here. So
scoop.
What he did, just to make it look good, is he made it all one size.
Yep, I see what you mean. Now, Dave, why would they have?
There's also one more thing I want to talk about that he did, which on Eddie Van Halen's, Eddie always wanted this area here to be rounded. Mm-hmm. So that when you're playing up here, you don't feel the edges of where the neck comes out of the pocket. So this whole area was re-rounded. And I had no idea until Unkert told me that when he handed me the neck. He was like, I also did that rounding thing that Eddie wanted at the heel. And I said, what are you talking about? He's like, well, look at this. This is how he wanted every one of his guitars to feel, so you don't feel the ridge when you're going up high.
Yep.
And I said, man, that's ingenious. I had no idea.
I never knew that either. Until you said that. I mean,
so you learn something new all the time.
So you guys you'll be breaking all your necks. You'll be snapping all your necks now.
Now, Dave, why were they
taking Sanders to all your?
Now, Dave, why were they taking hawk neck or hawk nose necks and turning them into hockey stick? Why didn't they just cut hockey stick necks? Why would they have to use the hawk necks for that?
Because it's what they had. It's just what they had. They didn't have paddle headstocks. They just used what they had and what Unker did to attach the
Yeah, well,
pieces
that was for Eddie's guitars.
But I mean, why
Yes.
wouldn't they just cut
Yes.
new headstocks? Why would they go to the trouble of modifying a hawk nose neck?
Chicken out.
Because it's what they had. It's it was all about what they already had in stock and what they used what they had.
Yeah.
You know, that was the whole thing. Back then they just made do with what they had, and they worked with what they had.
Yeah, and all the hockey stick necks that that were production necks, production headstocks, none of those were like Eddie.
They were all tilted back, right? None of them. Well,
were the same.
The what they call the Holy Grail guitar from '83, you know, the white one that Eddie's holding up in the magazine.
Yeah.
They made a certain amount of those that look just like these. And then in late '84, they went to the tilted back headstock because it was just too much of a pain to keep doing this, and it was a smaller headstock when they changed too. So they were able to it wasn't as large as this, so they didn't have to do the same type of construction. It was one piece. In fact, it was one piece, and on those guitars, there was you could see where it was glued together right here. Not on this one, but on those old Kramers, the neck ended here, and the headstock was glued on here. You could see, you would be able to see, you know, a line where they glued the two together.
Let me grab mine. I'll show you. Yeah, like on my Ripley, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hang on, I'll grab it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a kick-ass neck, Dave. That really is. It's awesome.
What I think I'm going to do with it is I think I'm going to make another 5150 guitar, but I'm going to make it as you see it in 1984 before the numbers and the stars are on it, as it was brand new looking.
Yeah.
Wait, mine's actually two pieces. My headstock is two pieces.
Well, I can't see anything.
Yeah, mine it looks like the neck and like most of the headstock is one piece of wood, and then like less than half of the rest of the headstock is another piece.
Oh, yeah, that might be.
I totally see it.
That might be.
Check it out. I totally see it. All right, I got my Ripley here.
Yeah.
Check it out. I don't know if you can tell.
You can't, not that angle.
Right.
Yes, I
It's
see it.
Be the light.
Right
there.
Right
there.
It cuts. It cuts under the second tuner, the B-string tuner.
Yeah, there it is. See that?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is like a Beretta neck,
absolutely.
headstock, whatever though.
Mhm. Yeah. That's very cool. So what else? Yeah, so I think I'm gonna do an unrelict 5150 with that neck. Pre 5150 numbers, you know, as it was in '84 when the tour started.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. There was only one little nick in that guitar at the time, a little white little slash up in the top portion. It looks like something dragged over it, just nicked it. That's the only bit of relicking I can possibly think of that had. Just a little slash where the red paint got worn off. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I agree. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
That would be cool. I don't think anybody's done one. Well, I'm sure somebody's done them, but I was actually going to do one of those about 12 years ago. 10 or 12 years ago, I was going to do the the late '83, early '84 5150 before the space station, before we even took it out on tour. And for whatever reason, I never got around to it. But I don't think anybody's done any of those that I know of.
Hmm.
That's kind of a that'd be,
Oh, I also want to mention, I spoke to Paul Unkert yesterday about this, and he told me to let this out of the bag. Well, not out of the bag, but he wanted me to relay that anybody who wants to get their necks done by him the same way he did mine. All you have to do is contact him, and the work is $300. He'll do it. You send him your beak neck or your strat neck, and he will do exactly what he did to mine for you for $300. He has no problem doing it, and it doesn't take very long. It takes about a week to a week and a half, just because the glue has to dry.
Yep.
So yeah, there you go. Just contact Paul Unkert. He lives in Toms River. I don't have his phone number on me, but he's in the book.
Yeah.
And
just get on
and
the
you'll be
original
able to have your guitar done. Yes, theoriginalguitarguy.com. And you can have your guitar done by the guy who did Eddie's guitars in the 80s, and it'll look exactly like this. It'll look exactly like this, and as long as he has his grandfather's bedpost wood, he'll use it. If not, he'll just use maple. But while he has this wood, he'll use it. And you'll have the same exact neck that Eddie had on his guitar.
Yeah.
It'll look exactly like this. He will not paint it for you, but he will hand you this back. And I got to tell you, I love Musicraft and I love their necks, but it ain't this. It isn't this.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
No, that's a one of a kind right there. That's being worked on by the man, and that it doesn't get any better than that.
Yeah.
Doesn't get any better than that.
So there you go. I put it out there. Again, yeah, it's $300. It's a little bit of money, but it's well worth it when you're making your 5150 replica and you want it to be exactly like Eddie Van Halen's guitar. I think it's worth it. Me personally, I think it's worth it.
I agree.
And it's not just for your Eddie Van Halen replica. I mean, he has three different templates, depending on whichever guitar of Eddie's you wanted to do. If you want to do a Kramer ad guitar, it would be the large template. It's a larger headstock than that. If you want to do the 5150, it's the medium template, which is that guitar. If you want to do the blue headstock Kramer, it's the smaller template. Look, you can Google pretty much all of Eddie Van Halen's guitars and you can tell which template the headstock is by just looking at it. So all you have to do is tell Paul which headstock you want, small, medium, or large, and he'll do it, and it'll look just like that. Well, it'll look like the neck it's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
And that's that, really.
Can he do like a reverse one?
The other thing, there's one more thing I wanted to mention about this neck, is that when he shaved this down, the back, he left it very rough, and he said that Eddie actually loved it rough. He did not like it smooth. He loved it a little rough. So
Dave, you like it rough?
I see. I'm going to have to break this neck over your head.
No, I said the neck. The neck.
Yeah, I understand. But the feel of it is very rough. So
I'm surprised Johnny didn't hear.
And that's all.
No, I'm here.
No, he heard it.
I got my mic down. No. Where's my Oh yeah. No, but yeah. What I said though, can he make a reverse headstock? Can he do like
I
a
bet
George
you he
Lynch?
could.
Like an ESP George Lynch?
Yeah, I
style?
don't see why not. I don't see why he can't.
Or left-handed. Isn't it the same thing?
Yeah, yeah,
Can he make a? Isn't Paul Rodden left-handed?
Paul Roden.
yeah.
Can he make a Paul Rodden model?
I believe he can.
Cool. Hey, Paul. Awesome. Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Any questions, comments? I think we're about to split because I literally have to split. Oh wait, there's a couple questions here. Hang on. Mike Kramer with a C. One more question for Dave. How in the H did you manage to paint up your Rasta guitar in such a way that it actually looks accurate to the original? Must be a ridiculous.
Well, the secret is I didn't do that. I bought that guitar from a buddy of ours. Well, actually, I didn't buy it. It was kind of given to me. But I hooked him up with other things that he needed, so it's like buying it. But a friend of ours didn't, he asked me if I wanted it, and I said absolutely, because his Rasta guitars are absolutely the best. And you can actually see the Circles guitar paint job underneath the Rasta colors.
Yeah.
So it's amazing. I think Rob also has that guitar, and I think Rob, yours is from the same guy, isn't it?
Yep. My Rasta is also the same exact thing. I've built Rastas before, and it's a very painstaking process. It's a total pain in the ass. I think it's one of the hardest ones to do. It's one of the hard. It's not hard to. It's nothing about it is hard to do. It's just very.
No, you're right. It's painstaking, is what it is.
Yeah.
It's painstaking, and the real reason I chose to take my friend's is because it has a 2-inch thick body already. It was already done. It's done very well. His replicas are fantastic.
Yeah.
And it's one of my favorite guitars, and I didn't have to make it. So
Yeah, mine's the same way.
And the money, it was worth. It was absolutely worth what I had to give him for it. So.
Yep, and I agree. And like I said, it's very hard to nail the Rasta and have all the little triangles come out exactly where they are. So I've done them before, and I was happy with the one that I had. But the gentleman that Dave's talking about also did mine, the one that I have now. And again, it's the 2-inch thick body, and it's in just about exact front and back, and it also has the circle underneath it.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely. And it's exactly the same guitar that Scott Smith gave Eddie Van Halen this past summer. Exact. Not the only difference between mine and the one that was given to Eddie is my headstock is painted the way it was in 1983.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's exactly the same guitar. So you can absolutely say that Eddie Van Halen, me, and Rob have 3 of the same exact guitars.
Yep, that's for sure. Yep. Oh, and Dweezil Zappa.
Well, Dweezil has the original. Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So he's got the real one.
Yes, Dweezil has the real one.
So you and Rob and Eddie just have copies. You guys have fakes.
Yeah,
Dweezil,
we all
Dweezil
have
thing.
replicas.
Yeah.
We all have replicas. Yeah.
Okay, real quick. We got to split. Bruce Wayne wants to ask Rob if he can talk a little bit about his little guitars, Les Paul.
Sure. Actually, let me just go grab it real quick. Hold on.
And turn on the lamp.
Yeah, I'll turn the lamp on.
Who do you think you are, Vinny?
Can't see him.
Don't call me Vinny.
Okay, real quick. Run.
What else? Any other questions while we wait?
Well, this is just on YouTube. There might be some stuff on. I apologize if there's questions that we're missing.
Yes, and you did say there were other questions. I guess we're just not going to get to.
Well, there's other ones that have saved since we last did one of these that we'll get to.
Okay.
We'll get to. But real quick.
Yeah, this is my little guitar, is Les Paul. It's a little travel guitar. I thought long and hard years ago about how I was going to do one of these, other than just having it custom made. And I kind of went back and forth and didn't really know exactly what I was going to use, and certain things were looked like they were close but not close enough. And then one day on eBay for I want to say like $40, $40 or $45, I found this little Lotus guitar, and it looked totally different than what it looks like right now. It was a Lotus travel guitar, made in India. And I looked at it and I said, "Wow!" I said that could be a pretty good candidate for what I was looking for. It had at the time 4 knobs. You can kind of see where I filled them in here, the little bungs here, here and here. It had 4 knobs, had different pickups. It had regular non-soapbox pickups. It had dot inlays, no pick guard, and I put the strap locks on and everything. So I bought the guitar for like $45, $50, and it came in, and immediately tuned it up, whatever tuning it is to play little guitars. I forget what it is. Tuned it up and was playing along with the song, and I thought it was cool. And then one day, after maybe I had it for a couple of months, I said, I'm going to make it look a little more accurate. So I bought some, I forget what kind of pickups they are, basically, soapbox pickups. Bought those. And I cut the pick guard myself with just a little piece of white plastic, and I put the little piece of angle iron on here. So I got that squared away, and I brought it down to my guitar tech, and I had him just take 2 knobs out. So now it just basically has just 2 volume knobs for both pickups. And I got on eBay, and I bought the block inlay stickers, which is exactly what I used on my 2015 Tour Relic, and they work great. I mean, I've had these on here for at least 4 years, and they don't come off. They're awesome. So, and the last thing I did is my sticker's a little bit bigger than Eddie's, but I put a VH logo on, and the eyelets, and basically that is it. And I'll tell you, it's a great little guitar. It works, and it pretty much fits the bill. The only thing I'd probably like to do is the tuners. The tuners are real kind of crappy on this guitar. They're not the best. They're cheap Lotus copy tuners. But other than that, it plays great, sounds great, and fits the bill for the little Eddie little guitar. Now on Eddie's guitar, his was a Dave Petchalot homemade deal, and Eddie's actually had a built-in speaker in the back, so you could actually play it without any.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's got a built-in speaker in the back. Eddie never used that, but yeah, that's it. It's just not a bad little guitar, but it's basically just a Lotus guitar. And I think with all the work that I put into it, as far as equipment, $45, $50 for the guitar, and I don't know, another $50 for the pickups, and I probably have less than $100 in this guitar, literally. And it really does a great job for what I was looking for, and it plays good too. Just need to switch the tuners out at some point.
Maybe put a bone nut on it?
I'm trying to think, Dave, if I had him. You're right. No, that's the standard nut. Yeah, maybe put a bone nut on it. Yeah, I did not have that done. That's a standard nut. But yeah, that might not be a bad idea. But yeah, not a bad little guitar. No pun intended.
Cool.
Slim Jim chimes in. What is he saying? Oh yeah, maybe this is what I was thinking of. He says, I the little Les Paul. Those are not soap bar pickups. A soap bar pickup is an oversized single coil.
He said soap box, not soap bar.
Yeah, I said soapbox, but yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're just cheap. They're just a little cheap.
Basically, they have covers on them. That's what he meant.
Right. Exactly.
Oh, okay. I was actually thinking maybe were those mini humbuckers.
No.
What do you call them? Like the Firebird? They look smaller. Maybe it's because the guitar is small.
Yeah, they're a
They
little
look.
bit smaller. Little
They
bit
are smaller, aren't they? They look
Yeah,
a little
I don't think so.
shorter.
maybe not. No, actually, maybe not. Maybe
They're not. Pickups are one size, baby.
No, there's different sizes.
One size fits all.
You know, the Firebirds have the mini humbuckers.
Yes, yes, right. But I mean, full size humbuckers only are one size, full size.
Standard. Cool. Thank you, Jim. Slim Jim. Is it Cassie? CASSI. Thanks for chiming in there. Cool. Okay. I think we're gonna. It's 8 o'clock. I think we've been on for a little bit. I think we're gonna. Well, to me it is. It's 11 o'clock where you are.
Yeah.
8 o'clock here. The sun is almost totally set here, and Howie is ready for his evening walk.
Yes. Yep.
He just finished reading his new issue of Esquire with George Clooney.
Yeah.
So he's ready for his
Awesome.
evening stroll. Cool. All right. Well, thanks you guys. Thanks everybody for watching this stuff. We appreciate the feedback, the comments. Feel free to subscribe if you dig these things, and I'll put the links down below of Dave Nesdall's channel and Rob Johnson's channel, so you can check them out. Subscribe to them to check out some of their videos. They do a lot of guitar videos with their guitars, and I'll be back. I still have to do my vlog. I'm doing this vlog thing non-stop this month. I'm almost done. The month is almost over, so I'll be back on here a little later on talking about something. And Dave, if you'll be awake, if you want to join me, you can join me. It'll probably be in like a couple hours.
Yeah, I should be up.
Cool.
I should absolutely be up.
Are you taking photos?
Yeah. No.
Selfies. He's doing selfies.
Selfish. So anyway, my this guitar is totally cool.
Yes.
And, I highly recommend getting one. Either the gold, the green, or the red. I highly recommend it. It's great.
Yeah. Well, you know, I saw them. Well, I mean, you can actually see me in this avatar. I was actually at NAMM when they debuted those. The green one and the one that you have, they're like flat finishes, like satin finishes. The gold one is actually shiny.
Yeah.
The gold finished special.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. So hey, all right, awesome. Thank you guys. Thank you everybody. Huge shout out to Mario and Vinny.
Yes.
Keep rocking, everybody.
Hey guys.
Keep rocking. All right.
All right.
Yeah, we'll do one of these again. More questions, and yeah, definitely we'll see more of Dave's awesome new guitar. Thank you for joining us for New Guitar Dave.
New Guitar Dave.
And yes, all right.
Dave Glory.
Rob Johnson, David Nesdall, David Nesdall's guitar, Rob Johnson's guitar.
I know.
JohnnyBean, JohnnyBean.com. All right. See you guys soon. All right. Bye.
Good night, guys.